Has your opinion of Jimmy Garoppolo changed? I mean, he did just have a really good game against the Rams, and he has a new weapon who he seems to, their skill sets kind of align.
No, my opinion hasn't changed with Jimmy. Amazing game, good game for him. Having CMC is huge. It's a great crutch for Jimmy. And then you get Debo back. I mean, he has a ton of weapons. He might have the best weapons in the NFL, honestly, what I'm thinking about. I don't know. Maybe there are other teams, but 49ers have the best offensive weapons. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, and now Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if I'm missing someone else. Juice, maybe. Ross Dwelly. But honestly, like, he has the best weapons in the NFL. And so he's going to have games where he looks good. But Jimmy hasn't really changed. What I like is that he's taking deep shots. Now, his deep passes look the same as they always have, a little short, except for in the Super Bowl, right? All his passes seem to be really short. Ray McLeod, he would have had a touchdown. I think Trey Lance has a touchdown there. Obviously, that's speculation. And then, Ramsey touched the ball twice. Could have been interceptions. I don't think he's changed. I think he had a great game, a little bit of luck, but overall, really good job by Jimmy yesterday. But, we've seen the cycle. They post on Twitter and how it evolves with Jimmy. He has a really good game. We get excited and against a bad team, and then, the inevitable happens. So as a fan, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but, history kind of tells us the future.
Yeah, he did throw the pass to Ramsey yesterday, and Ramsey dropped it. He always throws one to the other team. You just got to catch it, or you drop it. They dropped it. No, Jimmy Garoppolo. It was a nice effort, but it's like he's done it to the Rams a million times, and there's a reason he can do it to the Rams. Most teams will take away that short passing game from Jimmy Garoppolo eventually. Good teams. And the Rams just don't. I guess they're built to make you dink and dunk, and they can be beaten by a horizontal passing game. They can't tackle. Their DBs cannot tackle. I mean, they can't tackle Debo. They can't tackle McCaffrey. Once one of the Niners guys gets in the open field, they're screwed. So this is a good matchup for Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, and he faced the one offense that's frankly worse than his.
He had two. I think the pass to Christian McCaffrey was really good in the end zone, but I think Nick Bosa said he doesn't even know if that was to Christian McCaffrey. It could have been to, I think there was Kittle in the back corner also. I don't know.
Two guys open.
Yeah.
Two guys open.
Right. And then Kittle, the pass to Kittle in the back of the end zone was really nice. The last touchdown to Kittle. But, most of his passes were pretty simple, pretty easy, short, outside stuff. So, no, I don't have a different opinion of Jimmy Garoppolo. I do think, seeing him for so long and how he's handled all the adversity, all the criticism, I do respect Jimmy Garoppolo as a person. I think he's a really good dude, good person. But he's just kind of like an average quarterback, and he's going to have bad games. He's going to have good games. And, there's a little bit of luck involved. I think sometimes as sports analysts, we are so quick to, like the Warriors could lose a game by a point, or any team. They could lose by a point, and all of a sudden they're horrible. They can win by a point, and they're amazing. It's kind of like what I see with Jimmy. If that ball's intercepted, he could have had a couple balls intercepted, honestly. The one that was short to Ray could have been intercepted.
Yeah, that wasn't a great throw. Yeah.
So if those are intercepted, it's a different ball game. So it's a little bit of luck, but that doesn't mean he's awful. Doesn't mean he's horrible. It just means he's Jimmy Garoppolo.
I thought he had a really good game, even though there were a couple things that could have been intercepted. Okay, that's for most quarterbacks. He really did play a very efficient game, and so I gave him an A. But it's just one game. Does this one excellent performance against the Rams mean that he's suddenly going to be a good quarterback in the playoffs? I mean, maybe. I mean, he might be a good quarterback in the playoffs this year, but I'm not going to say now because I saw this yesterday. That's not an indication of that. And Colin Cowherd's probably going to go on his show today and gloat about Jimmy Garoppolo being back and all this stuff. It's yeah, okay, but he's done this so many times before. Not that it's any less impressive, but for whatever reason, it's just, styles make fights.
Yeah.
The Rams are made to order for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him, man. Great game. I don't want to criticize him too much, but have I changed my opinion of him? No. And, I'm a big believer in statistics. We have 6 years of statistics on Jimmy Garoppolo. So, we see where he's at. If it evens out to the numbers that we've seen from him in the past, which it probably will, that means there's some bad games ahead as well. So just kind of temper your
I
expectations.
mean, it felt like he was a week. If he lost this game to the Rams and he was a big reason they lost, it felt like he was gonna lose the confidence of his own locker room. I mean, last week after the Chiefs game, you had Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle both being like, I don't know why this offense isn't delivering. We have the playmakers. And the question was, are they talking about Jimmy or Kyle? And maybe they were talking about both. But the way Jimmy played in this game, maybe he thought they were talking about him, and he stepped up.
Yeah,
He
I
stepped
think
up.
He bought himself at least a couple weeks. But I don't think a lot of players were happy with him. If I had to guess, I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say Brandon Ayuk wasn't big on Jimmy coming in this game. And if I had to make another guess, just based on some body language I saw earlier in the season, I think Danny Gray is definitely a Trey guy. I saw some pretty funky body language from Danny Gray in the beginning of the season when Jimmy came in. So, obviously I'm just speculating. I have no idea who's pro Jimmy and who's not. But I think he bought himself a couple weeks. But I think he was on the hot seat based on some people I talked to. There was some stuff going on inside that locker room.
Interesting. I mean, it seems like it was hard to be pro Jimmy after those two losses. And it seemed like even his biggest supporters and defenders in that locker room were starting to be like, man, there's nothing I can say. There's no more excuses there's no more excuses. And so Jimmy Garoppolo needed this performance. It was clutch, timely. They won. Does it mean that he's going to look good against the Chargers? I don't know, man. He's looked bad against Atlanta. This is a guy who's twice done the hat trick this year, the bad hat trick, which is the interception, the fumble, and the safety.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great. It'd be an amazing story if Jimmy Garoppolo plays well for the rest of the season and into the postseason. But history says he's going to have some bad games. History says he's not going to do well in the playoffs. And, when the 49ers do make the playoffs, they're going to be playing the best teams that they've played all year outside of the Chiefs. So it's going to be a challenge for him. We'll see. A root for the guy. I think CMC is a big crutch for him and might help him out.
Well, last year, the way it worked is he kind of struggled the first half of the year, almost got benched for Trey Lance. And then I was in Chicago. It was right before Halloween, and he won. And he scored those touchdowns, and they scored 30 points. And he went on a run. His birthday's November 2nd, I think. So last year, he went on a run from Halloween to Christmas. Remember? It all came crashing down. He's like Cinderella. Like midnight is Christmas for him. And in Tennessee, it just all went bad. He had been so hot. He beat the Bengals. And then I don't know, maybe that's his thing. Like he's really good from Halloween to Christmas, and then it all falls apart. Takes him a while to get going, gets hot, and then when it's really like pressure time, he's like, "Oof, I'm a pumpkin."
Yeah, hopefully, man. Hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, I think what's the most games he's played in the season? 15? 15 is the most, right?
No. He did not miss a game in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah. Nick Mullins never played a game. I know this because me and Jimmy Garoppolo are like best friends now. He shouted me out yesterday in the press conference, so I have to defend his honor at every turn now.
I saw that. By the way, your recap last night, that was
thanks.
Amazing. I love those. Man, your recaps after the games are the best. Whether they win or lose, I'm still excited to watch your recaps. And that last night was prime elite Grant Cohn performance.
Thanks. I know everyone was expecting me to like poop on the performance. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna take credit for it. So thanks, guys. Anthony.
Yeah.
Anthony Adams says, any chance we can scrap the wide 9 versus mobile quarterbacks? I feel like that's the missing piece for us to be an elite defense, specifying our schemes. I actually think there's a lot to that. Why is the Niners defense susceptible to mobile quarterbacks? Well, you've widened the scramble lanes by alignment, and you tell these defensive ends and defensive linemen altogether, just rush to a spot. Forget reading and reacting, rush to a spot. And you spread them out. Like, how could you make it any easier for a quarterback to scramble if he can scramble?
Yeah, and especially with the with the option, what I'm seeing is there's a trend. I could be wrong. Maybe this has been happening for a long time, but I really picked up on it myself personally this year. I'm watching guys that are defending the option really well. What they're doing is they're coming at the running back, so the quarterback keeps it, and then they're coming inside. They're like fake going at the running back, and then the quarterback keeps it, and they're coming inside. And when I watch teams that do that, it's really effective. And so I'm not really a huge fan of the option. It's something that high school teams and college teams have been doing it forever, but the NFL is really good at adjusting, and
Yeah.
I don't know how effective that's going to be long term. And hoping Kyle Shanahan doesn't just rely on that so heavy if Trey Lance comes back next year.
Yeah, agree.